Hello, it's Angel here. Welcome to or back to the space. I feel like doing a VR. I'm having a bit of a practice overwhelm feeling right at the minute, and so I just wanted to do something fun. And I was looking back at Candy's channel because I love Candy from Candy Soul and Soil, and I remembered their tag collection meets decks, which suddenly struck a chord in me because I remembered that I had an interesting collection, maybe, hopefully, that yeah, I wanted to show and choose some decks to match. So let's get into it. I'm not going to talk any more, or am I? I'm not, I promise. Let's get into the tag. So what's the collection, you might ask? Well, yes, it's my favourite series on television, DVD style, because we're going old school. Waka waka waka. I don't know why I just did that. Made sense at the time. So I've got a selection of my favourite series, and yeah, on DVD. I love DVDs. I know it's old school, but you know, I love me some Netflix. I love some streaming, but you know, I love popping in a DVD disc and watching a series. I'm old enough to remember VHS. Ooh, my sister, I think, or somebody in my family had Betamax. Do you remember that? If you don't, Google it. And without more of ado, we're going to get straight into this. So the first DVD's out. Oh, Futurama! Do you remember Futurama? Created by the same people that created The Simpsons, I believe. I do have several other discs, but you know, my desk is not going to take the weight at this rate. I love this series. It's, you know, it's cartoon like, just like The Simpsons, but I do think it's aimed at more of an adult audience. I used to watch this when I used to go to sleep at nights, put it on, you know, repeat and just let it roll, baby. Yeah, so Futurama, we are looking at a character that gets cryogenically frozen and wakes up. Oh, when does he wake up? The year 3000? Not really sure. In the future. So we're looking for a deck that reminds me of waking up in a future world. What deck did I choose? Any guesses? Oh, let's have a looky. So I chose the Dreaming Way Tarot. I know, right? Wait, I'm going to sell you on the idea, I promise. Now, I was looking through my decks thinking about a futuristic world, and this one popped into my mind. I haven't used this particularly very much. I used it a bit in the beginning when I first got it. Then it's gone back into order. These are the edges which I coloured myself to match the backs. And this is back in order as mentioned. So this kind of, you know, stick with me here now, right? Have you seen, this is an old film as well, Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock? You know, when he like also gets frozen and he wakes up in this new world or like future world, and everyone's wearing like different clothes, and it's like everything has completely changed, and you know he's trying to, you know, get used to being in this new culture almost. That's what this deck almost feels like, with the clothing style and with the colour choices, with the palette. It feels like a, dare I say, sterile. Like it feels like a sterile world, and with the fashion in this deck makes me. It feels quite futuristic, quite pared back. Oh look, I've got an. Oh, look at that. That's bad, isn't it? Look at this of that. The devil card. Naughty, naughty. It bled out onto the cards. Yeah, so that's the reason I chose this deck, because this totally reminds me of this this new futuristic world. Maybe not this card so much, where things are hopefully a lot more accepting, and you know, a lot calmer, and people are getting on a little better, or much better actually, fingers crossed. So yes, it all sounds very bizarre, and I don't know if I've sold you on the idea, but it totally, you know, it totally works in my brain. I don't see myself using this one anytime really soon. It's not calling to me, but that doesn't mean it's going anywhere. It will just sit on my tarot shelf until it stops speaking to me. And I've got to say, tags like this really help me to kind of maybe find new ways to use my decks. You know, now I'm thinking about this in a futuristic way, this you know, building of a new world. Possibly that opens doors. It hasn't, you know, struck a chord with me at the minute or rung any bell in my mind, but it's, you know, a thought that gets planted in my mind. And so the next time I look for decks for a specific practice or idea that I'm working with, or possibly facet, this might be the way in to use this deck. Who knows? But yes, we've almost gone through the whole deck. We've got 9 more decks to go, 9 more DVDs to go. Let's get into it. So the next TV series out, the next DVD's out. Oh, Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula. Oh my goodness me. Okay, I'm going to be honest and tell you that I initially first started, following this series when I was much, much younger. I think for the fact that Scott Bakula is, is quite nice to look at. Is he not? Yeah, bit of eye candy. But, I love this whole, if you have never seen Quantum Leap, Scott Bakula is like a scientist and he leaps back within his own lifetime, putting things right that once went wrong. Oh, it's just so lovely. And he plays such a lovely character. So yes, so I do have the majority of discs, but which deck made me think of this series. Look at this. Oh, yummy scrummy. Let's get into it. So I chose the Vox Arcana. Why? That's a great question. Scott Bakula, who is Sam Beckett in Quantum Leap, leaps back into other people's lives and sees things, lifetimes, through other people's eyes. And it made me think of Vox Arcana, which is actually created by several different artists. I want to say that every single card is created by a different artist. This is a mass market deck. It's a low Scarabeo deck. Yes, that's correct. And so I just, it just kind of made sense to me, seeing things through so many different sets of eyes. So that's why I chose this deck. Now I used this deck, was it back in January, not last year, the year before. I really, really enjoyed it, really, really good. But since then I haven't used it because my, mausoleum work and the other things that have been grasping and grabbing my attention have kind of, led me to other decks. But I do really, really enjoy this deck. And, I know I've heard previously that other tarot tubers aren't a big fan of decks created by different creators. But it really doesn't bother me. It works so well. So well. Really enjoyed the readings. I'm going to say it was not sharp and not to the point, but it was like it was a really clear reader. It was a really clear reader. No shenanigans. It just told me what I needed to hear. And I can't think which deck, who? I can't remember which deck I paired it with. Possibly like Oracle, the Messenger Oracle or the Seeker's Oracle, something like that maybe. I'm not really sure. But it needs to come out again because it hasn't been out for quite a while. So yep, that is my deck that meets the Quantum Leap criteria. Don't know if you're going to go along with me, but that was my choice. Moving on to the next deck and the next DVD. So the next DVD out, the next TV series out is The Golden Girls. It really is. I mean, you've got Blanche, you've got Rose, you've got Sophia, and you've got Dorothy. This is so great. This is cozy television at its best. I can pop it on in the background. Nothing to worry about. I can just, chortle along to their shenanigans. I love it. But which deck? This is the TV series and the collection. But which deck did I choose to pair with this? Let's have a look. Well, it had to be the Housewives Tarot. Of course it did. I mean, weren't all these lovely ladies married at one point and possibly housewives? I do believe so. This is a mass market deck. I've never used it. I haven't even used it. But I have purchased it for the reason of using it to work through the fact that I have never married, that I'm not a housewife, that I have never wanted to fulfill that role in my life. And so I felt this would help because this deck feels quite cheeky. It feels like it's trying to break... It feels like it's trying to break the mould. Does it not? If you've got this deck, let me know. I haven't gotten to this work yet because other things, like as mentioned, it's been calling to me a little bit louder. But I have recently been feeling, as mentioned in the beginning of the video, a bit of practice overwhelm. And then I did some readings around that and got the message through that, whatever thread I pull at, whatever red thread I pull at, will be the thread that I'm supposed to be looking into. And I'm supposed to be unraveling, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. So I don't need to worry or pressure myself into getting through the things. It's going to take the time it takes, and I just need to be a bit gentler with myself and almost go with the flow, really, I think. So yeah, so I haven't got to it yet, but you know, it's I'm not going to say it's on the horizon, but it's in the background of my mind here. But until then, I'm going to carry on enjoying the Golden Girls because it's great television and it's so comfy, cozy, and it just makes me giggle, makes me chortle, and I love it. So the next TV series out, the next DVD out is Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. Oh my goodness me. Honestly, this honestly kind of influenced me so much that this is the reason that I went and studied journalism when I had left school. Honestly, it was the whole Lois Lane, she was like my role model almost. I can't believe I've just what's the word? Admitted it, but that's the truth. Anyway, so, and obviously, Dean Cain, he was quite nice to look at as well. Anyway, so Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. You may have seen Superman. I'm sure you've seen it. Lois Lane, she works as a journalist, and she doesn't realise that the mild-mannered reporter that works with her, who wears glasses and, looks exactly like Superman, is actually Superman until he takes off those said glasses. So never judge a book by its cover was my thought behind this choice. Yeah, so let me show you the deck and let me see if I can sell you on my thinking. Let's get into it. So I went with the Journey to Enlightenment Tarot because I think the artwork in this deck makes can I say? Well, it definitely made me. I'm just gonna speak for myself. It made me think that this was really going to be a what's the word? Intense and a very intense deck. I really expected the messages to be maybe a bit chaotic almost. Not chaotic. Well, yeah, actually, yeah. I thought they were going to be intense and chaotic when the messages came through. But that's not the way this deck reads for me at all. This deck reads for me. I know it sounds bizarre. I do appreciate that, but this reads for me really gently. It's a gentle deck, and it's a supportive deck, and it makes me feel seen, and it makes me feel, yeah, I think I said supported, but it really does. It makes me feel supported, which was a real surprise. I expected one thing and got something that was completely unexpected. And how does this relate back to Clark Kent and Superman? Well, you kind of see the mild-mannered reporter, and then, they rip apart their shirt and they are something completely different. They are, something unexpected. Am I selling you on the idea of why I chose this deck? I'm not sure. It really does make sense in my mind. Now, this deck is on my list to read this year with another deck. Can I be so bold as to play with pairs? Can I be so bold? Am I allowed? Well, I'm going to anyway. Skip if you don't want to see. Let's get into the pairing that I would love to see on my desk with this beauty sometime this year. So it's the Margaret Peterson Tarot. This is the first version I owned, and I'm thinking that these two might pair really nicely together. There's a lot going on in this artwork, and not so much this image, but generally I do feel the Margaret Peterson deck is a little bit calmer, and I think it'll be a great balance. Now, I have used this one a little bit, and I can't think what I paired it with, but I have recently gotten my hands on a secondhand copy with the maroon, is it called maroon? I think it's called the maroon, or the purple edging, which I'm currently pairing this month with a couple of decks, which I'm going to show you in my June wrap up. But I just feel that these two might work really nicely together, and as mentioned, they are on my list to work with this year. I'm going to take a couple more, and then we're definitely going to move on because we've got DVDs to look at, man. There's something here, there really is. I looked at these two in November when I was doing a reshuffle round of my decks and decks I want to use in 2025, and I got these two out on the floor and was like, I just got this flash of inspiration, oh, I think these two would be nice, work nicely together. And I was sitting on the floor and sorted my decks and got these two out, and there was just something that really called to me. So this, as mentioned, they're in the box waiting to be paired this year. Fingers crossed they see the light of day. And I'm very interested to know as well if this Margaret Peterson Tarot with these this edging or this these borders will read differently than the other deck with the maroon borders, because the artwork feels a bit warmer to me in that deck. But we shall see. We shall see. Let's move along. So the next DVD out, the next TV series is a firm favourite. It is Fawlty Towers. Oh my goodness me, I absolutely adore this series. It's amazing, it's fantastic, and I do wish that there were several more seasons of it. This is a series, if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure you must be familiar with. It's Basil Fawlty, Sybil, his wife, Manuel and Polly. They are running a hotel. And there's loads of shenanigans going on, and poor Basil Fawlty never gets a break, but he doesn't help himself either. So it's madness. It's total madness going on in this hotel, and every single episode is just like, oh, it's just so funny. Put it on the background, you know, I can watch it. I don't need to worry about it. It makes me giggle every single time. It's aged quite well, bar some things, but you know. It's as mad as a bag of frogs or a box of frogs. And the deck that reminded me of that was this one. This is Morgan's Tarot. You will have seen me not so long ago looking to rehome this deck, and I was on the video saying I'm definitely going to rehome this deck. It's leaving. I've decided it's moving away from me. It's going to get a new owner that's going to love and hug and squeeze it. And those words, those were famous last words, because I totally did a 180 turn in that video, and it's now in my collection again. So, you know, don't listen to a word that I say in these videos. Who am I? Well, you know, I do ask myself that quite often. So yes, this deck is as mad as a bunch of frogs. It's what's the word? It's oh, what's that word I'm looking for? It's on the box it says tarot. I can't think of the word I was looking for. I'll put it on the screen. My mind's gone blank. But on the box it says tarot, but I don't class it as a tarot, and I personally use this as more of a crazy oracle deck, because you know it's bizarre. There is a little white guidebook. Does that help? Not really. It's still as mad as a bunch of frogs. But I think that's also why it works, because sometimes it just is like it leaves you asking more questions than it answers. And it's just crazy. So yes, there we go. Let's move along to the next series and the next DVD and the next deck. So the next DVD is a total favourite again. Of course it is, I wouldn't have it on DVD. This is Keeping Up Appearances with Mrs. Bouquet and poor Richard. And you might have seen this. If you haven't seen it, get yourself onto YouTube. I think you might find it. It's easy family fun. That's what I'm going to say. Mrs. Bouquet, she's keeping up this facade of being very posh and, you know, well-to-do, and poor Richard just gets dragged along on her shenanigans. And she's got this family who you can see here, Daisy and Oslo, who are complete, I want to say, like normal working class people. And you know, she wants to pretend that she's above her station, and she's got some poor neighbours that get dragged into all her happenings and malarkey as well. So it's just a big pile of fun, in my personal opinion. Again, I can put it on. I don't need to worry about it. It's just easy viewing. It makes me giggle along to the happenings in each episode. So I went with the facade, Keeping Up Appearances, as the title of the show is called. But which deck did I decide to choose for this DVD? So I chose the deck in this bag, which is a new purchase from eBay. I found a lovely person on eBay that crochets their own bags at an amazing price. So I purchased 2. I'm hoping that I can get my hands on some more, because they are gorgeous. And I can't crochet because I don't have the patience. I don't know if you're going to go along with this, but I'm looking at the facade, believing that something is something else, and then looking below the surface and seeing that it is something else. That's a terrible explanation. Mystical Dreams Tarot. Oh my goodness me, I love this deck. If you've seen my recent videos, you know the story. I was looking to rehome it at the same time as I was looking to rehome the Morgan's Tarot, and you know what happened there. And this deck was on the top of the box, and it was calling to me. It was going, woo, got a message for you, woo. And I got it out, and I thought, this doesn't work for me as a tarot. And the thought struck me, but why don't I just modify it and make it an intuitive oracle? And that's what I did. So long story short, that's what's happened. Have I edged the edging? I haven't. I still haven't decided if I'm going to edge it in black or blue. I'm too busy using the deck. What can I say? Sometimes time does not stretch to all the chores. That's not even a chore. All the fun things I want to do. And this is one of the fun things I want to do, but I'm too busy using the deck. And this is a deck again that's in rotation this month. And it comes, it's my, I have lovingly, what's the word I'm looking for? When you dip a baby in the bowl in the church. What's that called? I can feel the cogs turning and the smoke is coming out of my ears, trying to remember the word. Oh, I don't want to say adopted, that's the wrong word. Wait for it. Christened is the word I'm looking for. This deck has lovingly been christened. That's still not the right word. That's not the right word. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I lovingly call this my butterfly deck because it flitters from one pairing to another, and it works with everything. It's very, very versatile. And since cutting off the titles and the borders and all that malarkey, I don't think it's had borders, but it has definitely had titles. I've been using this every single month since then, for all different readings. And in some ways, I do feel this is kind of bringing through my guides. It kind of, I feel it does channel my guides quite a bit. And I'm not speaking about like ancestral guides. I'm talking about other guides. But I might go into that in another video. Anyway, so yes, so this was, the facade was that it was obviously a tarot. And, you know, I looked deeper and it was an intuitive, beautiful oracle deck that is so versatile. Does that make sense? Hope so. Moving along. So the next DVD out, the next TV series out is absolutely fabulous. Total classic with Jennifer Saunders and Joanna Lumley. Eddie and Patsy, love this show. I think it was back in the 90s, and I remember when I was at school, we did a school assembly and I played Eddie, and my teachers didn't realise it was me because I was so shy at school, and Eddie is not a shy character if you've seen this series. She is very, I want to say vivacious and very she's as mad as a hatter, to be quite honest, and Patsy is more the sharp best friend that is her sidekick. Would I say she's a sidekick? No, it's a definite, no, it's an equal dynamic, power dynamic, but it just works. It is a bit crazy. She's also, she's a bit bizarre, but it just works. So yes, so they go along on all their shenanigans. There's a lot of fashion. She owns her own PR company, and there's just a whole lot of happenings going on. There's a whole bunch of fun. So which deck did I use to embody this program? Oh, let's take a look. So I chose the Queer Tarot, mainly for the colours, for the fun, vivacious fashion, I'm going to say. This totally gives me a 70s/90s vibe with the colours, with the fashion, with the clothing. I just love it. I love the fluidity on this deck. I think it's amazing. Oh, it's just, this just screams absolutely fabulous to me. It's just absolutely fabulous. I tell you another deck I could have chosen. That would have been the, oh lordy lord, I've forgotten the name. What's the name of it? Oh, Gordon Bennett, my brain today, honestly. Wait, I need to go and check it. The Supernova Tarot. That could have also have been a runner for this series. But I ended up on the Queer Tarot. If you've seen Absolutely Fabulous, you'll know that did quite a lot of like runway shows and things like that. And it was just, Eddie's got this long-suffering daughter, Safi, and she's got an assistant called Bubble, and her mum's also as crazy as a bag of frogs. And it's just so much fun to watch. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely recommend it. In fact, I would definitely recommend all of the series that I've shown you today, because they are just so so cozy and easy watching, I'm going to say. So yes, this was my absolutely fabulous deck, and it is absolutely fabulous. I haven't used it in quite a while. Again, other decks have been cooling. This has never like solidified itself in a specific niche for me. This totally speaks to me. Absolutely fabulous. It's amazing, and so does this actually. Yeah, and so therefore it's just it's quite a neutral deck, I would say. So I can use it. I could pull it out for any kind of reading, and as you know, if you've watched my videos for a wee while, you know that I'm not really feeling the colourful decks. So that's also a reason. But it's safe in my collection. It's chilling on my tarot shelf. I think I've got one more. Yeah, let's get into it. And finally, the last series, the last DVD, the last part of my collection coming out today is Vampire Diaries. Love sucks. Ain't that the truth? Ain't it the truth? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. This is almost all of the series. Yeah, I do prefer the earlier episodes. But here we have Damon. We've got Elena, and Stefan, and we've got a whole bunch of other characters. It says what it doesn't. It does what it says on the tin. It's all about the vampires. Oh, and it's all about Damon because he's a bit of eye candy. I am feeling a bit of a theme here. I watch series that have like a bit of eye candy in them. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Anywho, yes. So, which deck reminds me of the Vampire Diaries? I've been cheeky. I've chosen a pairing. I hope that's okay. Let's get into it. So as mentioned, I'm being cheeky. I chose a pairing. We've got Dark Fairy Tale Tarot and we've got the Dark Light Oracle. Both are mass market. This is I want to say it's Los Scarabeo, and this is a US Games publication, whatever that word is. Publication. Oh my goodness me, I can't think of the word. Publication. That's not the right word. These are the backs. I think they're gorgeous. I've edged mine in black. These are the backs. I've edged mine in surprise in black. Now, the Vampire Diaries is all about two brothers, Damon and Stefan, and they are both in love with Elena. Now, the thing with Elena is she's like a double gonger, I think it's called. Is it called that? Double ganger it's called in English. She's a double ganger of a person that they were in love with who turned them into vampires once upon a time. So it's a whole love triangle. It's more than a triangle. You've got whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, these two decks totally speak to me of the Vampire Diaries. Now, I'm going to say it is a bit of a teeny, I don't want to say teeny bopper series, but it's got quite a lot of young people, and it's based around the younger people in the series. But I love it. It's so much. It's just so good. I love the stories. It's got Bonnie, who's a witch. You've got people that are turned into vampires. You've got the normal folks that are trying to live out their lives. I just love it. It's just great. Again, it's something that I can pop on and I haven't got to worry about, because although it's about vampires and people being bitten by vampires, it's still a bit. I personally still find it light-hearted. Although saying that, I find horror films generally quite fun to watch whilst crafting. So don't listen to me. I clearly don't have a very good, or I have no filter where it concerns like horror films. It's all okay. It's all good, and I enjoy watching all of them. And quite often, I'm like, that wasn't scary when I've watched a horror film. So maybe don't listen to me. But anywho, I'm totally babbling. These are the deck choices. Now, my experiences with these decks, this one has been absolutely fantastically amazing. I use this, it's currently sitting in my darker decks basket, which is right beside my desk, because I pull things from that willy-nilly here, there and everywhere, even if I haven't decided to specifically work with a deck in the month. Whenever it calls to me, I just pull it out when I'm doing shadow work or inner mausoleum work or any of that good stuff. This deck I haven't worked with as much. I felt a need to work with it in order. And I'm doing that, but I'm wondering now if maybe, just shuffling it up and doing it as working with it as a normal oracle deck and just, pulling it, as and when for a message might be better. So I want to test that out. Yeah. Love the images, love the artwork of both. Don't tend to go for the guidebook for this one. Was working with the guidebook for this one, and I think that's why some of the cards I felt a bit like, oh, with the entry of the guidebook, I was a bit like, oh, I wanted a bit more. So maybe I need to, shuffle it, work with it out of order, and you know, work with it intuitive maybe, and just jump off the key word and the key phrase. I don't know. I shall let you know. Watch this space. So yeah, that's it. We're done. I don't think I've got anything else to say, have I? I don't think I have. I'm going to thank you so much for, you know, allowing me some frivolous fun whilst I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with my practice. I just needed something, you know, that I needed some playtime on my desk with my decks, and this was a perfect opportunity. And I just really wanted to get my DVDs out and show them some love, because they are so underappreciated, aren't they, DVDs? Do you have any DVDs left at home? Do you have a DVD player? Let me know in the comment section. I'm nosy, I want to know. Are you old school like me? Waka waka waka. Enough chatting. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I'm going to wish you a lovely morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Take care, and I really hope to see you in the next video. Toodles.